Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the Halftime Show. Of course, we're going to be reviewing all the action from round 2. We've had a big gap in NPL action because of those wild storms. And we only had the one game in round 3, and that was Broadmeadow getting a 4-1 win over Edgeworth at Jack McLaughlin. How did that one how did that one go?
Obviously, Broadmeadow opened the scoring through Dino Fajovic. He scored his 5th goal of the season. Josh Evans headed home an equaliser for Edgeworth to make it 1 apiece. They went into half-time at 1-1. In the second half, it was just the Cal Bradbury show. He scored 2 goals in 5 minutes and won a penalty that Peter Haynes converted. Magic winning that one 4-1 and going to the top of the table.
So an undefeated Broadmeadow Magic after 3 rounds for them. We're going to have a look at the other round 2 results. So back to round 2. Hamilton, a 2-0 win over Edgeworth at Darling Street Oval. A good win for them there. And Charlestown, they've been whipped by every tipster and every person predicting how this NPL is going to finish this year. Are they as poor as what everyone's saying, getting their first win over Adamstown?
No, definitely not. Obviously, they had a tough start with 2 losses, one in the NPL, one in the FFA Cup, but they've showed what they can do. They're a good side. They won't give up. They've got a few quality players and they've got a fair bit of depth. Obviously, at the moment, they've got a few players injured and missing through work commitments, but I don't think they deserve to be tipped as low as they have been in recent weeks.
Of course, Adamstown with plenty of players out injured from, I think it was something like 6 first-team players injured. The other game, Western 2-1 over Lambton. Of course, we got some interesting news out of that one. Dave Tancheski revealed that Joe Wheelhouse will be out for up to a month with a quad tear. So, bit of interesting information out of that one. But if you want to see the highlights, they're on the Bar TV website, YouTube channel, I should say, and the interviews with Trevor Morris and Dave Tancheski. The other game, the 4th game of a big Sunday in round 2, South Carter fought back for the 2nd week in a row from 2 goals behind to draw 3-3 with the Jets youth, and they just never say die, Blake.
No, they don't. They've come, as you said, come from behind twice. 2-0 down against Maitland, 3-1 down against the Jets youth. Obviously, in that game against the Jets youth, Mitch Wallace and Dean Kelly were the 2 scorers in the second half to bring them back to 3-3. That's one thing that will be repetitive this season in the NPL. South Carter fighting till the death, not giving up. They're a hard team to get points against.
And the final game of the round was Maitland against Broadmeadow, a big 5-1 win up at Maitland for Broadmeadow, and not a happy homecoming, their first game in the NPL, Blake, for Maitland.
No, a sour point with Dennis Fajovic, who's Maitland's left back, conceding 4 against his brother Dino, who's obviously firing for Broadmeadow Magic. Not a happy homecoming, as you said, first home game in 12 years. Magic, though, were just too classy, and I think they will be in many games this season.
Now, we did have an interesting article in the Newcastle Herald during the week. Craig Carey wrote about how relegation is destroying or undermining the NPL. What is your opinion on relegation in the Northern New South Wales NPL?
I'm sitting on the fence with this one. I see both flips of the coin. Obviously, we want to develop good young players through the ranks and see them go on into A-League and beyond. I think relegation, on the other hand, provides excitement. It forces the clubs to, go into the season with win at all costs attitudes, and I think it's a good thing. I think it's a very good thing, and it gives the teams in the new FM League the chance to have something to play for, to come up and to play against the best teams in Newcastle.
Yeah, that's fantastic for those sides to come up and yeah, as you said, challenge against those best sides in Newcastle. It was a big round 2 of action, and that's a wrap up from round 2. So it's time for the ladder time here on the Halftime Show, and we're going to have a look at how the teams sit going into round 4. Of course, Magic and Edgeworth, the only sides to play 3 games. They're up the top of the ladder, undefeated, as well as Hamilton and Western. Of course, South Cardiff also undefeated. How does that ladder look to you, Blake, in comparison with how you think it'll finish?
It's very interesting. I expect 3 of those top 4 teams to be remaining there at the end of the season. I won't say who they are. I probably don't even know who they are, but 4 of the biggest teams this season, and I expect at least 3 of them to be there, actually. One interesting fact, I know this will go to air on Sunday, but if Broadmeadow win their game on Friday night, and if they have won their game, they will be on 10 points, which is more than double than what they finished on last season, and that's just after 4 of the 18 games.
Yeah, worry for Maitland early on. Of course, they're down in the red zone, never a good zone. As you said, Blake, 3 of those sides. If three of those sides don't make the finals, there's going to be a lot of soul searching at those clubs. You'd have to think. Time to go to New FM Division 1. It's always interesting to see what's going on down in the doldrums. Valentine FC knocked over Lake Macquarie in the last round, 3-2. Roosters not crowing recently. Of course, they were up the top last time we saw. Now they're back in second. So how do you think it's going to turn out in the last more than half of the season, Blake?
I think Valentine's going to be up there in the green come the end of the season. Last year, they only lost 2 games. Usually, going into a season, the coach would tell his men, we lose 2 games this season and we get promoted, but it wasn't to be the case as Maitland only lost 1. So a very interesting stat from last year. But yeah, I do expect Valentine to be a big challenger. Obviously, Lake Macquarie will be up there as well, but I'm picking Valentine.
Well, that's going to be an interesting one to have a close eye on, Blake, sort of looking at the back window at the New FM division, because there's going to be some great battles going on there. I think, as you said, it's really only going to be a battle between Valentine and Lake Macquarie, if we're going to be honest. What do you think about that?
Oh, I think that's a fair statement. Just like last year, everyone sort of said it wasn't a 2-horse race because of the way Bell Swans were hanging about back in third, but I think it was a 2-horse race last year, and I expect it to be again this year come the end of the season.
Well, it's going to be a very interesting year in the New FM division. Now, we are going to say goodbye for this show, but we'd like to say thank you to all the SES volunteers. And as we go out today, here's a quick little clip to say thank you to all those SES volunteers that have helped throughout the week of wild weather we experienced. See you next week.
It's been a tough few weeks in the Hunter. A few weeks that have now become etched into our history.
Homes that have been lost in this. There's obviously a number of roofs that have been taken off, and we've also lost life. It is a huge storm event that is wreaking havoc across New South Wales at the moment.
Yet through the driving rain, the gale-force winds and the floodwaters, an army of people have assembled to ensure the Hunter region is returned to normality.
This is a weather event that has come upon us. It is more severe than was probably anticipated.
Whether it be the countless SES volunteers, both locally or from interstate, that dropped everything to tie down tarpaulins or cut away trees, or the thousands of Ausgrid workers who have worked around the clock in some of the most horrendous conditions to restore power to over 200,000 homes. The RFS, police, ambulance and fire and rescue New South Wales, and most importantly you, the community. And through it all, no one complained, because we all knew a story of someone who had lost more than we had, and they needed the help of the community more than we did. So here at Bar TV Sports, we want to say a massive thank you to everyone who pitched in and did their bit through one of the most testing natural disasters of recent times. Thank you.